There we go. Um, I would encourage you to watch this lots of times because there is a lot of information. And I'm not going to go over all of it today. I'm just going to hit the important parts of it. Okay. So that you kind of better understand where they're coming from and how they're grading these because you could have the most incredible portfolio and you still only get a 2 or 3 on it. All right. If you don't play by their rules and their rubrics. Okay. So, um, here's what they're looking for. And before you even read all of this crazy stuff that I wrote here, um, think of it a lot like opening up your sketchbook from ninth grade and turning the pages to where you are now. All right. And you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how far I've come. Like I could barely draw back in ninth grade, or, the drawing was really rudimentary. And look how far I've come. That's really kind of what they want to see in your portfolio. They want to see how far you've come from October to May, okay, in your work around an inquiry, they call it, or an investigation. Okay, so an inquiry or an investigation. So let me talk to you about how you get an inquiry or an investigation. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of approaches. Okay, one is the introspective artist. Okay, maybe you're a very deep thinker and you think about, what's the meaning of life and, things like that. You're really a deep thinker. Um, I found these little cue cards and I thought they were kind of cool. So like things like my greatest challenge is, or I took a risk when I did this, or I was raised to believe this. Okay. Um, so you're really thinking about yourself, your life, or it could be even someone else's life or something that affects you. So that is one inquiry, okay, or one theme. They don't like to use the word theme, but it's kind of like a theme that you would investigate. Okay, so that's one way to come up with an idea for your inquiry that you're going to investigate. Another way is to ask yourself a question like this, like, how can I achieve this in my work? Okay, so how can I achieve dramatic emotions using reflective light, in portraits? Or how can I achieve a structure in my drawings using geometric forms, kind of like Picasso did? Or how can I express emotion using intense colors? So you're kind of asking yourself questions about what you want to do with your work, and then you're going to go through a process of developing those ideas. They might start really rough in the beginning, and that's kind of what they want to see. And they just want to see your ideas gradually develop and get better and better and more refined. Okay, so remember that art best communicates a strongly connected idea, emotion, or message. My advice is to be brave with your topics. So if you think it's a really good topic, you really think it's great, but then you're afraid to share it with other people, it might be a really good topic. You want to throw it away because you don't want other people to really know how different your idea is. But I would encourage you to be yourself. That's what they want to see. They want you to be yourself. They don't want to see the same things over and over again. So they want to see your personality and your style come through. So choose something that's important, meaningful, enjoyable, or has an emotional connection to you, the artist. Um, don't pick something easy just because it's easy. Pick something you're really passionate and interested in doing because you're going to be doing it for like 7 or 8 months. So pick something you like, okay, and you're interested in, okay? Once you get into that theme, and what I'd like you to do is give me 2 or 3 inquiries for this weekend, this Sunday in your journal. Put a couple questions together of things that you think you could use for this inquiry, okay? So remember, it could be some of these questions I put here up. Okay, I took a risk when, or I never expected. Okay, or again, goals. How can I achieve this certain style or this in my work? Okay. Some artists that I've watched YouTube videos on, and this is true with any artist, you may choose something that's a little bit too broad. Okay, so for instance, um, this first one's pretty good because you're talking about getting dramatic emotion using in your light. But I know one artist who just chose to describe light, and she was doing like headlights, traffic lights, light bulbs, and it was almost too much. It's almost too broad. So find something that's broad enough that you can do 15 pieces. Okay, because that's how many you need to do is 15. Working around that inquiry, but yet not so broad that it's too much. Okay, so I'll help you with that. So that's why I like you come up with 2 or 3 ideas for this. Okay, and then once you do get your idea, you're going to start what's called your sustained investigation. That sustained investigation means you're going to do 7 or 8 months of art projects that are going to slowly develop over time. You're going to gradually you'll finish one, and you'll probably look at it and say, we've all done this. You've done a project. You're like, this is almost perfect. I wish I would have done this. And then so there's your opportunity when you do the second piece to adjust your style a little bit or try some different things. They really want you to experiment a lot in these pieces, and they should all be kind of connected in some way. Okay, and you're going to do it through practice, experimentation, revision. All those things come to mind. Okay, now I have a video I wanted to show you, and I'll show it to you in just a second. But at the bottom here, I mentioned here, it's okay to make mistakes, and they really want to see you revise your work, and it keeps improving. Don't throw anything away. Okay, you never know when you can use it, so don't throw anything away. All right. So now let me show you the other page. It's just here. Here. Okay. Can you see that? The video of the girl? No. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Screen share. Okay. Put that up here. Let me try this. Oh, this is fun stuff here. Okay, let me pull up one more image here, see if I can. Oh, I need some background music here. Does anybody sing?
Me.
Ari does. Okay, can you see that now? Okay, very good. All right, now this is I could only put closed caption. I can't get the sound, even though I tried sharing it. But this is a really good example um, of a student's work. They got a 4, which is really really good. But they probably could have got a 5. And so just take a
and
look
used
at
arbitrary
the work
colors.
here.
Sort of
This
that
is
question I was just talking
the
about. How
first
can I
portrait
create
done in
portraits
pastels,
using arbitrary colors?
and
And
he's
he did
using
the
like
classmates, so there's
arbitrary,
classmates.
unusual
And here
colors.
you can see
Okay,
another one.
there's
And
the
here you can
second
see a
one,
third one. And he got better. He definitely got
and
the
there's the
practice
third
down.
one.
So here's all 3 together. So my question would be,
Okay, now if you take a look at these, um, they're really well done, right? The portraits are really well done. And if you notice, his work is improving, and I think that's why he got a 4. If you look at this first one, you get the third one, it's really has improved. But as far as experimentation, do you see a lot of experimentation going on with the background or colors? they're pretty much all the same, right? I mean, he did really well on it, but the teacher that got his grade back just explained to him that's the reason he didn't get a five, a perfect grade, is because he didn't really. They look at the work and they could see that it improved, but it really didn't. He didn't experiment too much. So they really encourage you to experiment and try different processes and different media, okay, different materials and so
Did he
on.
practice,
Okay, so that's
experiment,
example
and
one.
revise? And
All
he
right,
did
and then
practice, as you can see, they
example
got
two
better
is
as they went
coming up
along, but he didn't really experiment that much. They're all sort of up getting a
for
three
this a little bit.
on his portfolio. I can go to the next slide. There it is. Oops. A three on his portfolio. Now, let me say something right now. He practiced, he experimented, and he revised that
And I
idea.
really like this one. Um, the cartoons. Now, some of them are plagiarized. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second, but I recognize this guy here and this guy, and this guy. So they do really tell you not to use any copyrighted images. Now, maybe he changed them enough that they don't count that as plagiarism, but that's really close to doing plagiarism. But what he does with these are really
And he
cool,
was
and
going to
I
do
don't
his
think
little
he uses
drawings in
any
there.
of them in the
And just
next
a very simple,
projects.
that's how he
I think
started
they're all
out.
his own
And then he
cartoons
took that
in
and
the
he
next 2 weeks.
experimented and he
Just
revised
look
that
how this
idea. He was
develops.
like, what if I do have
Look
little characters
at
in the
that.
background and then I
Just
put
took the
portraits in
cartoons
front
and
of it?
used them in the
And then he took that
background
idea a little
of
bit
his
further and he's like,
images.
what if I took those characters and I put them
Okay, and then the final one, he reversed it. You see that? You actually put the cartoon images inside of the portrait.
into the
Okay, so I
portrait
think
and then
that's
left the negative
really,
space in the
really cool
background?
how he did
So you
that.
can see here how he
And just to
practiced, he
look, see how that
experimented.
progressed. I mean, it's mind blowing how much improvement this kid made in a short amount of time. So that's kind of what that's what they're looking for um, with this portfolio. Okay. Let me pull my slideshow back up. Okay. So practice, 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 experiment with different media for these projects and revise. Okay. Plagiarism, avoid copying any images as much as possible. Anything on the internet or in magazines is copyrighted, so be very careful about that. You'll lose all credit if you're doing that. They have ways of reverse image searches and things like that. So it's real easy for them to find images if they look too good or they look suspect, they'll catch you doing that. So please make sure you use your own photos as often as possible. If it's just a background or an idea for a color, that's not a problem. But if you start adding Mickey Mouse or Marilyn Monroe or copyright images, that's what can get you into trouble. So please make sure you do that. Okay, and the third, I'll run over briefly, is communication and reflection. They do want a description of your materials that you use for each one and the process and kind of what you were thinking while you were creating the piece. So what I would do is I would submit your piece as you finish it, okay? And they're not going to look at any of your work until May when you click that submit button. So I would just each week, because you're going to forget, like, oh man, what did I do 4 weeks ago? So every 2 weeks when you do a project, I'd like you to do your description, your media, and your processes, and kind of like your reflection for each project in there, so that it's less stressful, you're more organized, and you'll be able to stay on top of it for that. Okay, so you have 15 pieces to do. That means we'll barely make it if you do one every 2 weeks. So it's very, very important that you stick to that 2 week limit. Some of you may not realize it, but some of you could do some of these in 3 or 4 days if you wanted to. So some of them can be done more quickly once you get the hang of it. I wouldn't do anything that's really, really large. 9 by 12. Your sketchbook is a good size, but I wouldn't go anything larger than 18 by 24. Um, you know, so keep that in mind. And then At the end, you'll pick like 5 of your best quality works to hand in. So we'll get more into that. But even any in progress photos, I'd strongly suggest taking like in progress photos if you kind of want to show that in your work. I think that would help too. And I want you to share your progress during Zoom meetings, during Flipgrid, just as often as we can give each other feedback, even if it's not from me, if it's from your classmates. Do that. The more you do that and critique your work, the better you're going to get. Um, when I visited some other high schools and this charter schools of the arts, over there in Bethlehem, I mean, they'd have critiques for 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours talking about one or two pieces. So the more you communicate, the more you talk about art, the better you get at it, and the better you see things that are important. Okay. Uh, Couple little things yet, and then I'll let you sort of we'll talk about this and wrap things up. But one last thing: College Board requests you do not sign your work on the front. I know that seems really weird, but they're judging your work. Different judges are judging work, and sometimes the names make it confusing. Um, they really don't want to know. They want to stay objective. So sign everything neatly on the back. Don't sign anything on the front. Okay, it'll just make things a lot easier for grading. And your deadline is May 5th for everything. So like I said, every 2 weeks approximately you need to finish a piece. Okay, any questions? I know that's a lot of stuff. I'm recording it so you can watch it more than once because, like I said, it's a lot of stuff. Here's the real kicker, okay? 50% of your grade comes from your artwork. That's it, 50%. So if you paint like Leonardo da Vinci, but you didn't show any written evidence or you didn't show revisions, you didn't have a guiding question, you'd end up with a 50%, okay, which is not good. So you want to make sure that you cover yourself and do these other things. Back up your work with written evidence, visual evidence. You show revisions and you practice and you experimented with different things. All right. And then the last 20% is connecting your guiding question, um, you know, drawing with colors through emotion or whatever you chose. Make sure that there's a connection to that. Okay, so if your guiding question was, how can I create emotion through color, and all of your drawings are black and white, there's no connection there. Okay, so just make sure that you have a really strong connection to what your inquiry or your question about art, what you want to do with your art, is connected to the actual stuff that you're showing them. And it's just not like random pictures. Okay, any questions on any of that? I know it's a lot, but I kept paring it down as much as I could. I'll share some more videos and things um, uh, as well to help you with that. But I hope this helps. Feel free to meet with me during Zoom. We can make Zoom meetings anytime you want, but come up with 2 to 3 questions for this Sunday that you think you might be able to use for your guiding question for your portfolio. Okay, any questions, anybody? Okay, I hope I didn't put you to sleep. There's just a lot of stuff. Okay, you are shooting for at least a 3. Okay, 3 will give you credit for the course. Be happy with it. A 3 is not easy to achieve. So if you get a 3, that's terrific. A 4 is awesome. A 5 is incredible. You got to remember that they're comparing you to a first year college level art student. Okay, so that's kind of the skill level they're looking for. Okay, APs, if you don't have any questions for me, you're free to go. I just like to talk to the art 3s and 4s for just a few minutes. Otherwise, have a great day, you guys. See ya. Okay, art 4s and 3s. Okay, so for you guys, What you could do is exactly what the APs are doing. Okay, I know you guys would be totally capable of that. You could find a guiding question and do that. Um, Another suggestion would be I'm still going to just kind of let you explore different mediums. You would still have your projects due every 2 weeks, but this was like kind of the early stages of what AP drawings used to do. They would do what's called a breadth assignment, and breadth just means a wide range of approaches. So you are a little more open to trying different things. Okay, so this is an example of a student's breadth piece. The subject is, what do you think? What's the subject matter? Somebody chime in.
Birds.
Yana, is it?
Birds. Birds.
I can't hear you, but I'm reading lips. Did you say birds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought so. Yes, birds. So there's like a skeleton here with like a bird perched inside. There's this bird with tags. There's someone holding a chicken, and there's some birds, some sort of birds on this shopping cart. So, you'd experiment with different mediums, which will work good for you guys because some of you are working from home. You can work with any medium that you want to, and different subject matter. And throughout the year, that could change. Okay, where the APs, they're kind of, once they sort of pick an area, they are exploring, but they have to sort of stay within certain confines. Where if you're doing a breadth piece, you're it's kind of wide open to try and do anything that you want the whole year. So this one's a little more, free to try a lot more different techniques, and that would prepare you, like I said, for AP if you decide to take it next year. Okay, so let me know. Let me know in your journal this week what you think you might like to do. If you'd like to do the AP, or if you'd like to do breadth pieces that we talked about here, I'm open to either one of those. Okay. You have any questions? I feel it's really weird. I'm not making eye contact because I have these two screens. It's like hard to like look at all of you and look at my screen. I'm still working on and my better side's over here. So it's like I need to get my better side in there. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, Shania, any questions before I go? I don't really want to leave. I have art ones next. I really don't. But I guess I have to. They need me. So, all right, keep in touch. Don't forget your paper projects due on Sunday, and also put in your journal what you'd like to do with your art stuff, whether it's AP or breadth. Okay. All right, I'll leave you alone. Have a great day. See you, everybody. Bye.